You don't like fasting if you don't like keto. Now, I know a lot of you are probably gonna go on and click off this video, but just give me a minute. I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. A lot of you, and I mean a lot of you, are starting to warm up to the fact that fasting is where it's at, all right? Which it is. Fasting is the best thing to do for your body if you ask me, all right? That's just my opinion. That's why I have all of my clients fast. That's why everybody undergoes a fasting period, because it does so many great things. Clear skin, helps the hair grow, helps to lose a lot of fat. I mean, the results are crazy. So I like fasting, needless to say, but also my clients and people who are just watching this video right now like to fast. It's probably why you clicked on the video. Now, why don't you like fasting as much as you like keto? That's my question. Now, I'm not here to try to sway you either way. I'm here to inform you that when you fast, you are doing a keto diet anyway. Now, what I'm noticing is people are thinking that a keto diet is meat-based, and that's not true. The reason why I say that is because ketosis is not a diet as far as what to eat, like what types of foods. So, oh, you eat meat, you can't be, no. A keto diet is a set of macros, proteins, carbs, fats. It's a set of macros based on your result you're trying to get to produce ketones. Now, when we fast, we already produce ketones, especially if you go long enough. Because one, you deplete the liver glycogen, you deplete the muscle glycogen usually, and then you start to burn fat. When you burn fat, ketones become a little more abundant in your blood. Sometimes if you're not using them or wasting them, ketones will also run out of your urine. Now, urine test strips is not the best way to test it. I like to do blood strips because you want to know what's in the blood. You can also use a breath, it's like a breathometer, or keto sticks is what it's called, to test your ketones. But I will say this, if you are fasting, let's just say 24 hours, 9 times out of 10, you are not in ketosis yet. So don't worry about buying anything, okay? Don't buy any test strips, don't buy any blood meters, don't buy anything. But if you are fasting 48, maybe even 72 hours frequently, it may be worth it. Now, here's another warning. Do not buy any testing strips, testing meters, blood, breath meters. Don't buy anything if you're fasting and then you're coming off a fast with carbohydrates, even fruit. Sorry, all right? I know a lot of you like to break your fast with fruit. I once did as well. Now, why do I say this? Well, research keeps evolving. Research keeps finding, different ways of doing things. And me personally, I've recently found that I was able to eat my way into staying fasted. So basically what that means is a fasting-like diet, which basically means when I fast, I get results like high fat burning, results like high HGH levels, results like clear skin. Look at that skin. Also things like energy, a lot of energy. My sex drive is much better. So many results come from fasting. But from my experience and my studies, when I leave the fasting realm and I break my fast with carbohydrates, all of that stuff kind of shoots down. And I'm thinking to myself, like, something's not right. I'm vegan, I'm feeling great. And that's not to say that I'm, against people breaking their fast with carbohydrates. But what I'm saying is there's another way to do it. Still vegan, okay? But I decided, hey, let me see what I can do to keep my insulin low. And that's when I came upon a keto-like, okay? I still don't know if I want to claim it yet, but a keto-like approach, okay? And what that basically means is when I break my fast, I'm going to stay in a higher fat caloric intake, which means 70 to 80% of my fat or of my calories are going to come from fat. Now, most of you are going to do one or two things. Some of you are going to ask, whoa, that's interesting. Let me see, let me check that out. The other half of you are going to go, whoa, I've heard all the doctors talk about fat is bad. Well, first of all, that statement would let me know you haven't looked at all the doctors, because most of the doctors right now, Dr. Pompa, Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, I think is his name. There's a lot of doctors out here talking about fasting mimicking diets. And basically what that is almost like a keto diet. So I would challenge that statement. But the reason why I decided to try this out is because I wanted to see how long I can keep those results. How long can I keep the good skin? How long can I keep the energy? How long can I keep the low insulin levels so I can keep burning fat? Because I want to be lean, all right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting lean. I'm filling out nicely. I feel really good. I'm looking really good. I'm liking it. So I'm like, how can I keep this up? And that's when I came upon the pretty much fasting mimicking diet, or what we would consider a keto diet. Now, I'm going to tell you, based on my research, how I know a few of the studies, or how I came to the conclusion that a few of the studies about high-fat diets are, okay, they're not anything you want to hold on to. One, most fasting or most high-fat diets usually tell you you're going to get clogged arteries. They usually tell you you're going to get some type of heart issue because of the clogged arteries. They usually tell you they cause other things like high cholesterol because of the fat. There's a lot of things, a lot of negative stuff when it comes to fat. And then they tell you you're gonna get fat eating fat, which is like dumb as hell. But it's okay. I'm here to help you with that, okay? Number one, all of these studies, all of them, I'm confident to say all of these studies were done on people who eat a high meat, high carbohydrate, and high fat diet. Okay, I'm willing to go out and say, and even if it wasn't a high carbohydrate diet, but it was a high fat, it was based on meat. It was meat-based fat. It was a lot of dairy, or it was a lot of junk. None of these tests were done on people who eat avocados, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds. You get where I'm going with that? All right, these are healthy fats, healthy. Now, this, of course, will not work for everybody. Some of you are going to drive yourself crazy trying to figure out if this is right for you. But I will say, for people like me who are recovering fat boys and girls, okay, it's all right. We're recovering, or we're trying to get out of that range. We need to kind of refrain from insulin spikes, or crazy insulin spikes. And what that basically means is that we kind of need to stay away from the carbs. Now, everybody doesn't have to stay away from the carbs, but a lot of us, me included, I need to stay away from the carbs. If I want abs, if I want to keep my abs and I want to get them ripped, if I want to get really lean, I got to get rid of the carbs. And that's just me personally. So I'm not pushing this diet on anybody. I'm just telling you the facts, all right? Now, number two, a lot of the times, once again, people say, well, you know, it's saturated fat versus unsaturated, and that's why the studies are showing that it causes clogged arteries, and that's why it causes you to store fat. And then I go, huh, it's good to know. Now, why is that happening? A lot of times when we eat high fat, 9 times out of 10, we're eating high carbohydrates as well. Or even moderate, they're too high. Now, why is fat gaining happening? Simply put, you know fat to cause fat gain simply because you're eating too many carbohydrates, and that is because the body actually will burn, or I don't want to say prefer, but it will burn the carbohydrates first. So if I have fat and carbohydrates, okay, and the body's like, which one do I want? It's going to burn the carbohydrates first, the glucose. It's going to turn into glucose. It's going to burn that as its fuel source, okay? That's always. And what does that mean for the fat? It gets stored. It's stored away. So carbohydrates need to be taken down so the body will prefer the fat instead, okay? So that's a piece of what we're dealing with. Now I can go into this whole spiel about the protein and stuff as well, which protein can be converted into sugar or glucose as well by way of what you call gluconeogenesis. Now that's another story. Really what we're talking about right now is why people think fat causes you to get fat, and it's because you're eating too many carbs. However, on the flip side, if you actually eat fats and bring the carbs down, what then happens is the body goes, huh, so you're feeding me all these fats. I guess I'm going to burn fat, okay? And then what we call lipolysis That's what happens, okay? Lipolysis starts to happen, and basically that just means we're getting ready to burn some fat. And what happens in this time now, fat becomes your fuel source. So one and two things happen, or two things actually happen. One, when you fast, regardless of when you fast, you burn fat even quicker. So if I'm burning fat during my eating window and then I fast again, I'm gonna burn even more fat because that's my fuel source. That's what I'm known to burn. So say goodbye to all of this. Number two, when I actually go back and have carbs, because I'm gonna have carbs again, you're gonna have carbs again. Most people are worrying about, oh man, I'm gonna get fat if I go back to carbs. Well, yes and no. First of all, I personally think we should cycle carbs, okay? Nobody should be eating way too many carbs. Whether that's raw vegan, whether that's regular vegan, whatever you're doing, you shouldn't eat too many too often anyway because of the insulin. And I've had a lot of vegans come to me talking about, I just got diabetes on a vegan diet, and it's because of the spike in glucose and the spike in insulin. So we gotta make sure we're not eating too much anyway. And I learned this when I did the research on my book, The Wild Rabbit, and I made the comparison about the rabbit's diet versus the human diet. They're both mammals, and they pretty much eat the same way. And the rabbit has to watch its fruit intake and watch its carb intake. Not more so carb, but just fruit, so that the sugars don't go too high in the rabbits. So it's crazy because a lot of their foods were seeds, nuts, and things like that. So message, all right? So long story short, the way that I continue my results or my benefits from fasting is I continue to eat a high fat diet, and I make my body fat adapted instead of carb adapted. Okay, some of the reasons why you want to make that switch is because some of you are having a hard time fasting. It's because you're carb adapted, and what happens is the moment you run out of stored carbs, which is usually only up to about 2,000 carbs, 2,000 grams. I'm sorry, not 2,000 grams, 2,000 calories. When you have 2,000 calories of glucose and you run through all of that, the body's ready for more glucose. So then the cravings go up and you start craving sugar and carbs. That's why you're craving, and that's why you can't fast as long. That's why you have trouble. That's why you might have stomach pains. That's why a lot of stuff happens that you don't know what's going on. So on the other side, we go fat adapted. Boom. You can't run out of fat stores. All right. So calories from carbohydrates, the max is like 2,000 calories. And once you run through that, you're in trouble. Well, the calories from fat is more like 100,000 in lean people. 100,000 calories from lean people. Now, if you got a little weight on you, if you got a little stomach on you, now you're looking at like 400,000 calories stored. 40 days, 40 nights fasted if you wanted to. All right, so that's what's going on. I hope this video helped you a lot. All right, a lot of you know I love my fasting, so I wanted to talk about the reason why you should probably look into eating more high-fat foods. Okay, now if you need help with this, of course, there are not many trainers, if any, that know about this style of eating as far as fasting and high-fat diets and how to manipulate your hormones to get them where they need to be. It's not many trainers. So if you need a trainer, you need some help, or nutritionist, you need some help with this, you know I'm here for you, okay? So I'll have a link below. You can simply click that link and apply to be one of my clients. I try to keep the window small because I want to work with everyone very personally, okay? I message and walkie-talkie my clients every day, okay? If you hit me up, I'm hitting you right back. So can't have too many people because I drive myself crazy. So make sure you apply below and we can see if we have room for you. Outside of that, be sure to comment if you got any questions, like, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. All right, let me know what all you want to hear. Next video is going to be lit as usual, okay? And I'll talk to you all soon. Check out that clear skin first. Look at that. Clear skin, all right? Remember, you too have the right to eat yourself to death or to life, all right? I'm out for real this time.